Body has been found in a pond in Milton in the search for the son of rapper Lil Jon.
Nathan Smith, better known on the scene as DJ Young Slade, the son of the legendary Lil Jon, was found lifeless in a pond near his crib in Milton, Georgia.
The son of Lil Jon, a missing adult son.
Cops are saying there's no foul play, but the streets ain't buying that story. Everyone's whispering, everyone's questioning what really went down here. Today, we're digging deep into those final moments, the strange timeline of his disappearance, the eerie details surrounding where he was last seen, and why so many people are convinced there's more to this than what the police are letting on. This whole thing got folks talking like something ain't adding up.
I go by DJ Young Slade.
DJ, I produce, I engineer, and I'm an artist. And my dad is the king of crunk, Lil Jon.
This isn't just another sad headline. This was a 27-year-old man with the world in his hands, dreams, talent, and a name already shining, who stepped out of his house one random Tuesday morning and never came back. Let's break it all down, because this story runs deeper than it looks. First off, let's talk about who Nathan Smith really was. See, mainstream media loves to box people into headlines, but Nathan, he was way more than just Lil Jon's son. DJ Young Slade had his own path, his own grind, his own shine. Nathan, just 27, was living in Milton, Georgia, about 30 miles north of Atlanta, the same city where his dad, Lil Jon, built his music empire. And if you somehow don't know Lil Jon, we're talking about a Grammy-winning icon, the man behind hits like Yeah with Usher and Ludacris, and the wild anthem Turn Down for What. Those tracks didn't just top charts, they defined an entire era of hip-hop and crunk. But Nathan, he wasn't out here just coasting off his father's fame. Nah, this man was carving his own legacy. He was a producer, an artist, and an engineer, a real creative powerhouse. And on top of that, he was an NYU graduate, one of the most respected universities in the country. This wasn't no regular story. This was a young talent with everything lined up for greatness, gone way too soon. That alone speaks volumes about Nathan's grind and brilliance. Getting into NYU, that's no small feat, and actually finishing, that's elite-level discipline. Nathan wasn't just coasting through school, he was mastering his books and his beats at the same time. The man was balancing academics with late nights in the studio, sharpening his sound, perfecting his craft, building a legacy of his own. Even Lil Jon himself said Nathan was amazingly talented, and anyone could see how close they were. You'd spot them side by side at events, showing up together on social media, always vibing like best friends. In 2024, they even hit the screen together on Family Feud, and that episode told the world everything. The laughter, the inside jokes, the way they hyped each other up, pure father-son energy on display. That was real love, real respect, real connection. It's the kind of bond most people wish they had with their pops. This wasn't just a celebrity and his kid. It was two men with an unshakable bond built on trust and love. Everyone who crossed paths with Nathan said the same thing. He wasn't your average industry dude. Lil Jon called him the kindest human being you would ever meet. And that wasn't just grief talking. Folks backed that up, from producers to friends to family. Nathan carried this rare kind of light, the kind that pulled people in without him even trying. In an industry crawling with egos, fake smiles, and clout chases, he stood out for being real, humble, grounded, and insanely talented without needing to brag. His sound was starting to make waves too, and people were finally waking up to how much potential he really had. Nathan was in his bag, engineering tracks, collaborating with artists, stacking up credits, and carefully building his portfolio. This wasn't no spoiled kid dabbling in music just because his dad's famous. Nah, Nathan was serious about his grind. He had the education, the industry access, and most importantly, the raw skill and hunger to make a name for himself on his own. So when news hit that this young king had gone missing under bizarre circumstances, the hip-hop world froze. Everyone was watching, everyone was talking, because from the very start, none of it added up. And here's where things get real. You gotta pay close attention to the details, because the timeline tells the story. Early Tuesday morning, Nathan doesn't just step outside, he runs out of his house, on foot, Not driving off in a rush, not heading somewhere planned, he ran. That one detail right there set off alarms everywhere. But here's the wild part, the piece that had everyone's jaw dropping. He left without his phone. In this day and age, come on, it's 2025. Who goes anywhere without their phone? Especially a 27-year-old music producer whose entire world, contacts, beats, files, texts, bookings, is on that device. Nobody just forgets their phone, especially not when they're sprinting out the house like something's got them scared or chased. Your phone is your lifeline. It's how you call for help, how you find your way, how you stay connected. Leaving it behind, that screams panic or some kind of mental confusion, like his thoughts weren't lining up right in that moment. Soon after, the Milton Police Department got a call. It was Tuesday morning, and Nathan had been reported missing by his family. They made it crystal clear this wasn't normal behavior for him at all. The official missing person flyer from police even stated that Nathan may be disoriented and in need of assistance. And if you know how law enforcement talks, that kind of wording means something serious was going on, that they believed his mental state could have been off or he was in distress. That one phrase alone had people worried and wondering what really happened to Nathan that morning. Disoriented. That word hit different. It wasn't just some random description. It meant Nathan wasn't in his right state of mind. It pointed to something serious going on inside. Maybe a mental health crisis, maybe an anxiety attack or a full-blown psychotic episode. Could have been severe depression clouding his thoughts or something that messed with his perception of reality. Maybe even exhaustion. Too many sleepless nights in the studio can mess with anyone's head. Whatever it was, the people who truly knew Nathan could tell instantly something was off. His friends and family weren't just worried, they were scared for his safety. That says a lot, because it means they noticed signs before he even left the house. Maybe he was saying strange things, maybe his vibe was different, or maybe his whole energy had shifted in the days before that Tuesday morning. We don't know every detail yet, but one thing's crystal clear. The people closest to him knew this wasn't normal. This wasn't Nathan being himself. This was Nathan in a moment of real crisis, and everyone around him could feel that something wasn't right. Now let's talk about where all this went down. Milton, Georgia, a calm, upper-class suburb surrounded by tall trees, wide streets, and those quiet neighborhoods where everybody waves to each other. It's not the type of place where people just vanish. So when someone goes missing there, especially under strange circumstances, the whole community moves fast. And that's exactly what happened. Within hours, the search was on. The Milton Police Department, Nathan's family, his friends, and even random residents came together trying to bring him home. They searched everywhere, neighborhoods, wooded trails, ponds, and every corner they could think of. Local businesses checked cameras, flyers went up, and social media flooded with his picture. Because of who his father is, the story spread fast. His face was everywhere, from Atlanta to LA. The hip-hop community jumped in too, sharing posts, sending prayers, and holding on to hope that Nathan would be found safe. Everyone wanted that miracle ending, one more day for him to come home, alive and okay. Search parties were forming non-stop. Folks were out in the streets, checking doorbell footage, scanning every security cam from nearby homes and stores, hoping to catch anything. The cops were hustling too, chasing every single lead, talking to everyone who might have seen something, no detail too small. This wasn't treated like just another missing person case. Nah, this was big. The son of a hip-hop legend was missing, and that meant heavy media attention and serious pressure to get answers fast. But then came the silence. Tuesday passed, Wednesday rolled through, Thursday hit, and still nothing. No leads, no sightings, no new clues. Each day that slipped by made the fear grow stronger, and anyone who knows how these cases work understands the longer someone's missing, especially when mental distress might be in the mix, the less hopeful things start to look. Everyone involved could feel that ticking clock getting louder by the hour. Then, Friday morning, everything changed. Search teams came across a body in a pond, not far from Nathan's house, just steps away from where he lived with his family. A small, quiet pond that had always been there, One of those spots people pass every single day without thinking twice. It wasn't some deep hidden lake, just a regular suburban retention pond, the kind built for drainage, surrounded by trees and tall grass. It blended into the neighborhood like part of the scenery, easy to overlook unless you were specifically searching for it. But that Friday morning, all eyes were on it. Soon after, the Milton Police Department released a statement confirming what everyone had feared. The body found was believed to be Nathan Smith. They said the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office would handle the official ID using fingerprints, dental records, or other methods. But everything, the location, the description, the clothes, the timeline, pointed to it being him. And then came the line that made people pause, really pause. The police said, quote, "To date, there is no indication of foul play." Let that sink in for a second. No indication of foul play. According to investigators, it didn't look like anyone hurt him. They were suggesting this was either an accident or possibly something self-inflicted. Their words painted it as a heartbreaking tragedy, something that just happened, with no one else responsible. But you already know, that statement didn't sit right with everyone. The streets started buzzing instantly, questioning how a young man could just vanish like that and end up in a pond days later with no foul play involved. Something didn't add up, and that's exactly when the streets started talking, because none of this sat right with people. When you really step back and think about it, the timeline, the behavior, the no foul play claim, it all feels off. So let's break it down piece by piece, because there are real questions here that need answers. I'm gonna lay out the facts, and you decide what makes sense. But some of this stuff, straight up strange. Point number one, the mental state question. Police said Nathan left his house under unusual circumstances and may have been disoriented. That right there points to one of three things: a mental health crisis, a possible reaction to substances, or something else entirely that threw off his judgment. But here's what doesn't line up. By all accounts, Nathan was good. He was working hard on music, staying connected with his family, just appeared on Family Feud with his dad, smiling, laughing, full of energy. There were no public signs that he was spiraling or struggling. So people are asking, where did this sudden crisis come from out of nowhere? Now let's be real. In the music world, especially in hip-hop, mental health struggles are real but often invisible. We've lost too many talented artists to depression, addiction, and suicide. Names like Mac Miller, Juice WRLD, DMX, and so many others. These were people who looked successful, happy even, but were fighting silent battles nobody saw. So it's not impossible that Nathan was going through something privately. Depression doesn't care who you are. Anxiety doesn't skip people with fame or money. Mental illness hits anyone, anytime, and some of the strongest ones, the ones who look the most stable, are actually holding back the biggest storms.
A lot of folks learn to smile through pain, to function while falling apart inside, and that's what makes it so dangerous. But still, the suddenness of Nathan's actions, running out the house early in the morning without his phone, points to something acute, like something specific snapped or triggered him in that exact moment. So the question becomes, what happened that morning, or maybe the night before? Was it a panic attack so overwhelming that he felt like he had to get out of the house right then and there? Was it paranoia convincing him he was in danger when he wasn't? Could it have been a reaction to something he consumed, legal or not, that caused temporary psychosis or confusion? These are heavy questions, and the truth might lie in the toxicology report when it's released. It could reveal if anything in his system played a role in his mental state that day. But even beyond that, there's the chance of an underlying mental health condition, something undiagnosed or not being treated properly that might have contributed to what happened. Whatever the case, the suddenness of it all, from being fine one day to gone the next, has everyone questioning what really triggered Nathan that morning. Let's keep it real. There are so many possible layers to this story, and without full info from the family or investigators, we can only connect the dots we've got. First off, when police mention Nathan might have been disoriented, that could tie to several mental health possibilities. Conditions like bipolar disorder can trigger manic episodes where judgment completely slips. Schizophrenia often develops in the 20s and can cause breaks from reality, hallucinations, paranoia, confusion. PTSD can cause intense anxiety or sudden fight-or-flight responses that make people act on pure instinct. But without more context or medical history, we can't know what Nathan might have been battling privately. Sometimes the mind can turn on you in ways even loved ones can't see coming. Point number 2, the pond. Nathan's body was discovered in a pond close to his home. And if you know Milton, Georgia, that area is filled with beautiful homes, golf courses, and those small neighborhood ponds scattered everywhere. They're not unusual. Most are part of stormwater systems, designed to manage runoff and keep neighborhoods looking nice. But here's what's got everyone scratching their heads. How did Nathan end up in that pond? Was he trying to hide? Was he confused and stumbled in without realizing? Did he intentionally walk into the water? Was it too dark to see? Or was there something else happening that nobody has figured out yet? Now, the police said clearly, no indication of foul play, meaning they don't think anyone attacked him, pushed him, or forced him into that pond. No signs of a struggle, no witnesses spotting suspicious activity, no evidence of anyone else being there when it happened. But here's the key. No foul play doesn't mean we know exactly what happened. It just means there's no proof another person was involved. And that's a big difference. Drowning investigations are tricky and they take time. Medical examiners have to check if there's water in the lungs to confirm an actual drowning versus a body placed after death. They examine injuries to see if anything happened before entering the water. They test for drugs or alcohol in the system. They even study the scene itself, footprints, disturbed vegetation, anything that explains how someone ended up there. It's a slow process, and until those results drop, everything is still half the puzzle.
Point number 3, the timeline. From Tuesday morning to Friday morning, that's 3 whole days. 3 long days between the moment Nathan ran out of his home and when his body was discovered. That's what really has people asking tough questions. Where was he during those days? Was he wandering nearby, lost and confused? Could he have been hiding somewhere in distress, too disoriented to find his way back? Or, and this one chills people, did he go into that pond right away on Tuesday morning and just wasn't found until Friday? That's the part that doesn't sit right with a lot of folks, because the pond wasn't far from his home. It was in plain sight, part of the neighborhood landscape. So how did search teams, drones, and police miss it for days? That's the mystery that still got everyone talking and waiting for answers that make sense. Or could something else have gone down during that missing window that nobody knows about yet? That's the question that keeps haunting this case. These are the answers investigators have to find, and that's where the medical examiner steps in. The autopsy will tell the story Nathan can't. They'll study the body to estimate time of death based on decomposition, temperature, and other key details. They'll look for any signs of injury, cuts, bruises, or defensive wounds, anything that hints at a struggle. Then comes the toxicology, testing for any substances, legal or not, that could have affected his mind or body. They'll even study his organs to see how long he might have been in the water and whether there were any unusual signs inside. The condition of the body reveals a lot. If he was in that pond for 3 days, there will be physical markers showing it. But if the evidence suggests he entered the water later, that opens up a whole new set of questions. Where was he before that? Did he pass somewhere else and end up in the pond later? Things like the pond's water temperature, its depth, and whether there were any objects or weights nearby. All of that plays a role in piecing together his final moments. Until the medical examiner releases those official results, though, people are left guessing. And trust me, the internet has gone wild with speculation. Social media has been spinning with theories, from logical possibilities to totally far-out claims. Everyone's throwing ideas around, trying to make sense of a situation that just doesn't make sense yet. Point number 4, the industry angle. Now let's address what everyone's been whispering about. Anytime someone connected to a major figure in hip-hop dies suddenly or mysteriously, folks start drawing lines, sometimes where there ain't any. And sure enough, the conspiracy talk started flying fast. People online are saying stuff like, the industry got him, or he knew too much, or even bringing up those old-school Illuminati sacrifice theories tied to fame and power. But let's be real for a second. Most of that talk, straight up cap. The truth is, most tragedies like this come down to something painfully human: mental health struggles, substance use, or an accident that spiraled out of control. Yeah, the entertainment world is ruthless and full of dark corners, no question. But jumping straight to secret society sacrifices without proof, that's not it. Lil Jon's been in this game for decades, and his entire career is built on turning clubs up and spreading energy, not conspiracies. He helped define an era of crunk and party anthems, working with legends from Usher to LMFAO. By every account, he's always been solid, grounded, and real, and above all, a father that adored his son.
That's why this loss cuts so deep. This wasn't some dark ritual or hidden agenda. This was a tragedy that left a father heartbroken and a community searching for answers, while the rest of the world tries to piece together what really happened behind the headlines. The statement Lil Jon and Nathan's mother Nicole released after the tragedy hit hard, straight from the heart. They spoke about how deeply they loved him, how proud they were of the man he was becoming, and how in their final moments together, they made sure Nathan knew how much he meant to them. That doesn't sound like people hiding something dark. That sounds like devastated parents trying to survive the unthinkable, while the entire world watches, speculates, and twists their pain into headlines. Still, it's not hard to understand why folks have questions. The hip-hop world's seen plenty of shady, unexplained situations over the years, so when something like this happens, people's minds go straight to suspicion. And truth be told, the industry does have a darker side. There's exploitation, manipulation, and non-stop pressure that can break even the strongest artists. Young talents get taken advantage of, mental health gets ignored, and substance abuse often gets swept under the rug instead of treated. So while the conspiracy talk about sacrifices or secret plots doesn't hold weight, it is fair to question whether the stress of being a legacy kid, the son of a music icon, might have been too heavy at times. Trying to build your own identity while the world constantly compares you to your famous parent, that's pressure most people can't imagine. And maybe, just maybe, that pressure built up quietly without anyone realizing how deep it was cutting until it was too late. Point number 5, the unusual circumstances. This phrase right here, unusual circumstances, is what really got everyone talking. Police don't throw that kind of language around casually. It's official sounding, but intentionally vague, a way of saying something about this doesn't line up without revealing the full picture. And that's exactly what keeps people restless, wondering what was so strange about Nathan's disappearance that made cops choose those words. So what could unusual circumstances mean in this case? Let's break it down. Maybe Nathan had been showing signs of a breakdown or emotional episode that his family witnessed, saying things that didn't make sense, pacing, paranoid, or acting completely out of character. Maybe there was some kind of trigger, an argument, a piece of bad news, something he saw or read that sent him spiraling into a panic. Or maybe it was external, perhaps a message or call that frightened him, something that made him feel like he wasn't safe. If that had happened, police would probably be looking into it as possible foul play, but so far they haven't said that's the case. It's also possible that his mind was playing tricks on him, paranoia or delusions convincing him he was in danger when he really wasn't. That's the painful truth about mental health crises. They can make people react to threats that only exist in their head. When fear takes over like that, logic disappears. The body just goes into flight mode, and sometimes, tragically, people run right into harm's way trying to escape something that isn't even there. That phrase, unusual circumstances, leaves a heavy cloud of mystery over this story, because until the investigation closes and all the reports drop, no one really knows what happened inside that house or what drove Nathan to run into the darkness that morning. Maybe there was a domestic issue that pushed Nathan to run out of the house, though honestly, that doesn't seem likely, considering how close he seemed to be with his family. Still, nobody outside that home knows what was really happening in those last hours. Maybe he saw something that scared him. Maybe he was running from something or someone he thought was real, but the police keep repeating it. No sign of foul play. The truth is, right now, we don't know. And until law enforcement releases more info or the family chooses to speak publicly, we might never get the full story of what truly went down that Tuesday morning. And honestly, that's their right. Some pain doesn't belong to the public. The Smith family has every right to keep those details private, especially if they involve something deeply personal or heartbreaking. When the news broke, though, the hip-hop community showed up. Artists, DJs, producers, fans,
Everyone came together to show love for Lil Jon and his family. The outpouring online was massive. Feeds were flooded with black squares and tributes bearing Nathan's name, prayers for peace, and stories from people who had crossed his paths. Folks who'd met him once spoke about his warmth, his respect, his humble energy, the kind of guy who left a mark just by being kind.
But what really stood out in all that noise was how many people in the industry started opening up about mental health. Big names, quiet ones, veterans, and newcomers, all talking about how this tragedy hit too close to home. Rappers who usually keep that tough exterior were suddenly real and raw online, talking about therapy, about their battles with depression and anxiety, about those dark thoughts they once tried to bury. It was like Nathan's loss cracked something open in the culture, a reminder that behind the chains, money, and hits, there are real humans out here struggling to hold it together. And that's the message that kept echoing everywhere. Check on your people. Just because someone looks happy, successful, and full of energy doesn't mean they aren't fighting invisible battles. A lot of pain hides behind smiles, and Nathan's story, tragic as it is, reminded everyone how important it is to speak up, to reach out, and to take mental health seriously in a world that too often tells you to stay silent. That's real talk, fam. We gotta normalize these conversations about mental health, especially for young black men who grow up hearing that showing emotion makes you weak. From early on, we're told to man up, to keep it all inside, to never cry or ask for help. But that mindset is destroying lives. It's time to break that cycle once and for all. We got to understand that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength. Being able to say, "I'm not okay," or "I need help," doesn't make you less of a man, it makes you human. If we had more open conversations, more real support systems, and less judgment, maybe tragedies like Nathan's wouldn't happen as often. Maybe more brothers could find healing instead of silence. To anyone watching or reading this right now, if you're dealing with depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, or any kind of mental health struggle, please don't go through it alone. Reach out for help. Call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They're there 24/7. Talk to a friend, a mentor, or someone you trust. Find a therapist. Hit up a support group. Do whatever it takes to stay here. Your life matters more than you know. Your story ain't done yet, and the world still needs you. And to Nathan Smith's family, friends, and fans, we're praying for you. May he rest in power, and may y'all find peace in the love and memories you shared. Nathan's light touched people, and even in his absence, that energy still shines bright. Before you dip out, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts, but keep it respectful, because this isn't gossip. This is real life, real loss, and real pain. Let's honor Nathan's memory by doing better, by checking in on each other, spreading kindness, and breaking the silence around mental health in our community. If you felt this message, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment to keep the conversation going. We're building something bigger than views. We're building understanding, peace, love, and healing to everybody watching. Take care of yourselves and your people. I'll see you in the next one.